Business editor Richard Southern joins us now from the Home Office. Hi, Richard.
Hey, Janella, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. We're getting a closer look at the global economic damage that this pandemic is causing. Not so happy Tuesday for the markets.
No, we heard from the International Monetary Fund today, and they had some, concerning things to say about what's going on. And this is their projection, right? They have, experts kind of looking at what they think is going to happen. And the IMF warns that the great lockdown recession, as they coined it, will be the worst in almost 100 years. The IMF calls it a, quote, crisis like no other. As for Canada, the IMF sees our economy shrinking 6.2% this year. That's more than double the 3% contraction for the global economy. So they're kind of thinking we're going to do a bit worse. A lot of that, of course, will have to do with the price of oil, which has dropped off a cliff. The IMF warned that the damage could be worse if the virus persists. So, that's some scary stuff, Janella. But here's the good news. The IMF went on to say that it believes Canada's economy will rebound next year with a 4.2% gain. So while they're seeing all sorts of trouble in 2020, they're hopeful that 2021 will be better.
Fingers crossed. It does feel like a long ways away. And the Ontario government just extended its state of emergency for another 28 days. They can only do it sort of a bit at a time. And you've been talking to one investment advisor who actually thinks that the economy should reopen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so this is Alan Small with the Alan Small Financial Group, and he had a blog out that kind of caught my eye recently. It was entitled, quote, "Can we afford the cost of social distancing?" He talks about, Janella, how he feels that, businesses will suffer too much if we stay closed for another month or two. He says we're maybe too singularly focused, or I was contending we should be singularly focused on the health of people. But he says, no, maybe you can also take care of business. Take a look at our.
Everybody seems to get, concerned about one or the other, or makes the comment, you can have one if you have health, or you can have the economy if you have one without the other. I think it can be both at the same time. And when the time is right, that's what I think you will see.
How can we open up right now? It makes no sense to me how we can open up. You can't open a bar. You're going to have people mingling there and spreading the virus, right?
Well, if we opened up now, you probably wouldn't have anybody in the bar anyways. But my point in the story is I think we need a plan, Richard. I think at the end of the day, what I think individual investors are telling me, and this is not me telling you, this is them telling me, what they need to know or what they want to know is what is the plan to reopen? Where are we going? See, people need hope.
So I think it's fair, Janella, to say we do need a plan on how to reopen. And people were asking the Prime Minister about just that today. But I also believe that, you can rebuild an economy no matter how bad it is. But of course, you can't rebuild a human life, right?
Yeah, I think it's tough. All these businesses, I go down the Danforth and I see these places are closed. And I wonder how much longer they can really hold on. They've got these sort of benefits coming from the government. So hopefully that can help some of these businesses hang on for as long as we need to. And that's the big question, right? We don't really know.
It's the average Joe, too. I mean, we found out that 85% of people, Janella, did manage to pay rent on April 1st.
Okay.
But May 1st is going to be a different story.
Yeah.
So it's businesses that are suffering. It's everyone that's suffering. And you're right. It's a good question to ask. How much longer economically can we go on here?
Yeah, and I think that we'll get a better idea once we have sort of the data from hindsight that we can look and see where things are going. We can start to project really, but it's tough to know when we're so kind of uncertain about where exactly things are right now.
Good news economically, we saw stocks move higher today, Janella, so maybe the market has at least found its footing a bit.
Fingers crossed. Okay, we have a couple things we're going to chat about next hour.
Yeah, we're looking at how some businesses out there are asking you not to use their service. Quite the departure. Plus, something that's been deemed an essential business in Florida that may make you smirk. That and more just after 6:30.
Okay, Richard, we'll talk then.